Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I am Brian Luskier. Sorry that we got a crazy day that just happened here. Donald Trump was carrying out a rally over in Pennsylvania, and a apparently lone gunman took a pot shot at him, nicked his ear, and unfortunately killed an individual in the audience behind him. At least I assume it was behind him at this point in time. Things are still kind of getting sorted out. I do know the shooter has been killed by the Secret Service, and there were two other critically injured individuals in the crowd. That's kind of the starting point for what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. As you get logged in, if you will just let me know that you're here so I can know what's going on. Hi, Luciano. Glad to have you on board. Yeah, it's crazy news. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here, and I'll get everything kind of set up here. This is the event video of the event as it happened.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
That's the long story short on what happened there. You heard three slow shots that were taken, a brief pause, then three additional shots were taken, and another one taken shortly after that. You could hear the shots on the video as dull thumps with a sharp sound spike at the beginning. Donald Trump, like I said, was hitting his right ear, as I understand it. The Secret Service, you saw them react nearly immediately, even as Donald Trump dove behind the podium to try and avoid the shots. This is just a crazy situation. This happened about an hour or so ago. I only found out about it because people on chats that I was participating in started talking about it just in short order. Rumors have been flying. Information has been sparse to gather. This from In Tribalism and Politics kind of gives some perspective on what's going on. As he states, it doesn't matter where you land on the political spectrum. This is terrible and shows where America is at currently as a nation. Let's go ahead and switch over to CNN here real fast. The Secret Service immediately jumped in, rushed him off the stage. Overall, and I'm kind of just going to scan through the live updates here. I've already looked them through and kind of given you the high level right here. So this is kind of just how it's going here. Biden did eventually, by the way, I'm kind of jumping ahead in what I remember because I have read through this already. Biden did give a statement stating that they were suspending their advertising for the immediate future here, trying to get all their advertisements pulled off the air, and suspending any ad buys at this point in time. This is a fairly rapid response and probably the first one they're able to do. The condolences and the statements on this of condemnation have been pouring in from all over the place. The Secret Service, initially it was reported that the shooter committed, I'm going to say it anyway because this is YouTube, they're probably going to take this off the air eventually. They said the shooter committed suicide. Then a little bit later, the U.S. Secret Service said, no, we actually shot the shooter. So, as I said, things are still in flux as to exactly what happened, and still getting to the whole situation together. Of course, Trump allies have been immediately putting in their statements stating that they were praying for President Trump. Marco Rubio did, J.D. Vance, Doug Burgum, Tim Scott, Kristi Noem, Elise Stefanik, Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and of course Donald Trump Jr., who declared he'll never stop fighting to save America. The Secret Service did report Trump is safe. I've seen no evidence of this otherwise. He was seen moving safely during and after the event. Um, Biden and Harris have received briefings on the situation. Trump's spokesperson says that he's fine. A bunch of people have been briefed. After a little bit, though, we started seeing additional comments stating that there were condolences and condemnations. Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries from the House stated that these type of political violence is never acceptable, and says he is praying for Trump. This is where things start to get interesting here. RFK Jr. even released his own statement calling for unity in the wake of the attack. Let me pop over to he's got two statements here. First one is, now is the time for every American who loves our country to step back from the division, renounce all violence, and unite in prayer for President Trump and his family. He even appeared on a news program. Let me get that pulled up real quick here. My mouse is kind of jiggling extra fast today. Let me go ahead and back this up.
It is obviously...
Pause that and full screen it so you guys can see the whole thing.
a horrifying moment, no matter who you are, what party you ascribe to, or don't. Your perspective this evening, sir, as a presidential candidate that has millions of followers all across this country.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all need to take a breath now and step back and see that this is the product of so much vitriol and so much anger. And that when we release that kind of anger into the universe, it inevitably comes back and reverberates with these kind of consequences. And all of us now have to start looking at each other and saying, we're all Americans. We're better than this. This isn't the way that we want our country to look to our children, to look to people around the world. We need to stop hating on each other. We need to stop telling other people in the world that the other guy is going to destroy the republic. We need to recognize we're all Americans. We all love our country. It's time now to pray for the president, pray for his family, for President Trump, and to start being kind to each other and to start being generous to each other and to resist all of the implications that we continue in this kind of vitriolic way. Let's have an election. Let's go forward as Americans. Let's love each other. Let's trust each other. And let's rebuild this country as a community.
How did you find out about this? We all found out about this in our own different ways. I saw a text message, wasn't sure if it was real or what was going on, and then I started searching. How did you find it?
I saw a text message at first. Somebody in my group showed me a text message, and then we turned on the television and we watched it as the story was evolving. And, you know, of course, I've been through this before with my own family. I was with my dad, and he died in Los Angeles. I understand the implications that this has for our country, and probably as well as anybody does. And, you know, I think my message to people is we need to all renounce violence. We need to renounce not just violence, but the hatred and vitriol. And we need to stop marginalizing each other, and let's have a dialogue with each other, but do that in a conversation and a debate. Oh, let's do that without hating each other. You know, when my uncle was killed in 1963, there was this kind of division again. There was this kind of hatred. When my father was killed, it was in the midst of a time that was probably the most divisive in American history at that time since the American Civil War. And we're back into that kind of milieu today. And we all need to take responsibility for it. When we post something that is mean-spirited, that is condemnatory, that it's poisonous towards somebody else. We're contributing to this atmosphere of violence.
As you can see, he provided quite the powerful statement on the situation there, calling for everyone to pray for Donald Trump and to overcome this spirit of division, this spirit of anger and violence. The Donald Trump did finally get a statement out as well, stating, "I want to thank the U.S. Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America." Moving back to CNN for just a moment here, Schumer also condemned the incident. Elon Musk chose this moment to go ahead and announce his endorsement of Donald Trump. Perhaps not the best timing, but it is, in fact, just how it ended up timing out. More people, of course, obviously, were giving their condolences and their prayers. The NYPD has decided to increase their patrol presence at Trump Tower and other New York City locations. This is where things start to get a little bit scary. And it would encourage you, if you were in the United States, to be extra vigilant. I'm not saying that anything's going to happen, and to be honest, I don't expect anything will. But keep your eyes open, stay safe, and make sure that if you're going somewhere that is public and with a lot of people, make sure you are paying attention to your surroundings and be safe. We don't need anybody else getting into the middle of something like this. International support for Donald Trump started to pour in as well, starting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. "Sarah and I were shocked by the apparent attack on President Trump. We pray for his safety and speedy recovery." Honduran President Xiomara Castro de Villar: "Violence generates more violence. I am sorry for what is happening in the United States electoral process. My solidarity with real Donald Trump." And Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban: "My thoughts and prayers are with President Donald Trump in these dark hours." So here's some of the pictures from the incident itself. I know that Luciano said there was some pictures that actually showed the .22 caliber bullet. I have not seen those specifically, but you can see here's Donald Trump under the Secret Service agents that were covering him. The moment of the attack, immediately after. And this picture right here, this picture will be iconic. This will be as much of a resistance picture as you could possibly have. Now, speculation's already starting to pour in. People are obviously speculating wildly about who's involved, the nature of the shooter, who might have been involved in it. I am going to forbear from doing such speculation. I'm doing this stream right now because this information is current. It happened a few hours ago now, and the fact is that this is our electoral process right now, unfortunately. Whether you love Donald Trump or hate him, whether you love Joe Biden or hate him, or RFK Jr., love or hate, the truth is, none of these men are worth taking somebody's life. Keep your arguments to the ballot box. Cast your vote. I don't even know what I'm going to do, but I can tell you it will not be to do what this shooter did, because that is not the way we settle things in the United States of America. There's always the possibility that that things may escalate, or with the survival of Donald Trump, they may in fact calm right back down. In fact, this may be the release valve for some of the tensions that have been overtaking our country. But regardless of which way it goes, understand that at this moment in time, we have gone from a blasé, uninteresting presidential election that was literally about the worst of all worlds to what could become the most consequential of our lifetimes. While I may not like the options, the truth is somebody doesn't like the options so much as to take a shot at one of the candidates. I'm going to add in, we better get RFK Jr. some Secret Service protection. Because if there's somebody already working on taking out presidential candidates, there's very little doubt in my mind that somebody's going to try again. Overall, though, that is the long story short on everything that we know so far. Even like Nancy Pelosi also said, thank God that Trump is safe. To a certain extent, from a political perspective, these people cannot say anything else. But I'll tell you honestly, I believe that's genuine. At this divided time in our nation, none of them want to gin up this level of violence because every single one of these politicians knows perfectly well that they could be the next one on the wrong end of a barrel. And hopefully they will take this opportunity to start bringing down the temperature, taking the pot off the stove, setting it aside so the boiling water will stop boiling over. And in the end, we can only hope that things will improve from here on out. We'll be watching this place very carefully, all of the news around the election. This is a short live stream. I just wanted to get this information out there. By the way, some additional details here. The shooter was reportedly outside the venue. So he was not inside the rally itself, just at an elevated position outside of the venue, which is surprising that it wasn't being covered at the time. There was an individual who claimed, now understand this is a claimed, so I don't necessarily know how much I believe it, but he claimed that he had seen a man with a rifle on a rooftop and reported it and was told to that everything was fine, not to worry about it. Now understand, presidential and presidential candidate protection often does involve having official gunmen on standby just in case they're needed. But if that's true, that means there was one more layer of security that failed as part of this action today. So that's everything for today. Again, thank you for joining me. I know that this is kind of an unusual time and kind of a last second thing. Thank you for joining in. I hope you, if you have any questions, let me know. I am digging into this evening. If you are interested in Tribalism and Politics, does have a Discord where I actually participate in the discussions there.
It is obviously...
Hold on, let me pause this. I don't know that I've got the link here. But if you head over to Twitter or x.com, and search for In Tribalism and Politics, most of his posts have the link as the second post there if you want to join in. By and large, they are a diverse group of people that are discussing the events and politics in the world. Sometimes there are some people who are, shall we say, a little more passionate than others. And therefore, it can get a little bit heated at times. But if you're interested, absolutely join in. This is not a marketing thing. I'm not paid to do that. I just, it's since I'm using In Tribalism's information as the primary basis here, I want to make sure we get that out there as well. And on that note, Stephen, let's see. This is not the way we used to resolve things, but unfortunately, this is how it looks like things are going. I hope it is a wake-up call. Stephen, I hope so too. Because if things continue to get worse, well, I think we all know where that's going to go from there. And on that note, thanks again for joining me. You have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you on the next video.